Ladies and gentlemen, for the second straight night, we have a chance to win the championship on NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. But today, it is the Busch Series turn and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s time to try and win his third career NASCAR Busch Series championship in this 2005 season. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's full race live stream. Live, realistic commentary for tonight's race. No practice, just going to hop right into qualifying and then into the race under the lights at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And a 300-mile, 200-lap race on yet another mile and a half late in this Busch Series season. Patrick Shadley, thanks for tuning in. First down in the chat down below. And yeah, here we go into qualifying. Not going to waste any more time as we are off to a little bit of a later start tonight compared to usual with the live streams. Got the Oreo Ritz Chevrolet paint scheme, mainly Ritz paint scheme on the race car tonight. And we'll see what Dale Jr. has for qualifying. Needs to have a clean start to this race. Ron Hornaday did not have that in the Truck Series race. Battled, still ended up winning the race and the championship last night. Dale Jr. does not have to win the race to win the championship today, but he does have to finish at least second with a lap led. If Clint Bowyer does lead the most laps and win tonight's race, and Boyer's been really good on the mile-and-a-half tracks this season. Dale Jr. just one win on a mile-and-a-half, and that was the last mile-and-a-half racetrack at Texas just 2 races ago. Little edgier here for qualifying. Trying to get a better qualifying spot than Hornaday had in the truck race yesterday. Dale Jr. down on the bottom of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. Pretty good. He's going to have another lap after this one, but if he can do the same thing he did in 1 and 2 down in 3 and 4, he might have a shot at the pole this time. Setup's edgier, but if he hits his marks, I think he's going to be all right. A little loose off turn 4 that time. Loose is fast if he can hang on to it. Dale Jr. did 32.397. Not even going to run lap 2. Dale Jr. is on the pole tonight at Homestead. And Clint Bowyer will be starting in the 9th place position. So back half of the top 10 for Bowyer tonight. He's going to have his work cut out if he's going to want to dethrone Dale Jr. of the championship. Noah Hall, XX Larry, thanks for tuning in as well. Green flag is going to be in the air. We are underway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will lead the field to the green, trying to get the good jump off the start, which it looks like he is going to be able to do so into turns 1 and 2. Very important to try and lead this opening lap just in case anything happens, and kept the same setup from qualifying into the race as well, so hopefully he's got the long run speed and the tires don't fall off of it too far. Even if he doesn't finish second, as long as Clint Bowyer does not beat him by more than 2 positions, it looks like Dale Jr. should win the title in tonight's race. And already off to a good start. Lap 1 is led by Dale Jr. 5 bonus points. There's the lap lead he needs. So if Bowyer does end up leading the most and win the race tonight, Jr. just needs to finish second or better now. And obviously if he ends up getting the most laps led, then he can finish further back in the field if Bowyer wins. Get an extra position out of it. Could probably end up finishing 3rd or worst. It's like Mark Martin jumping into 2nd. A Pennzoil car. He's been having some strong runs late in this Busch Series season. Truex Jr. on the outside lane right now. John Hamilton in 3rd. Truex side by side with Brian Vickers for 4th. Dark Crypto, Fig Jimmy Johnson, Trace Real Fanny, thanks for tuning in as well. Really low exit to turn 4 that time for Dale Jr. That lap was 2 1,000ths of a second quicker than he had to qualify on the pole. I'm sure his second lap of qualifying would have been better than his first. But he did not have to run a second lap because of how quick he was right out of the gate. We don't know what this car is going to handle like in traffic, though. That was where Hornaday seemed to struggle the most with his truck in the Truck Series race last night. No practice under Dale Jr.'s belt heading into this race. For myself, I had 134 laps of practice, plus the actual practice I had before the race started as well, qualifying. So at least we have some laps at this track, but this is the first time, obviously, for the Busch Cup Series yet this week. Our championship week continues as we have the NASCAR 06 Cup Series Do It For Dale race, the 10th and final chase race tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time, and then also at 6 p.m. on Thursday night, Championship 4 race at Phoenix on NASCAR 21 Ignition. Wrapping up our final season there. Took a couple week break in between the round of 8 race and the Championship 4. Stretching it out up until that 22 season update ends up coming into fruition at some time in the month of September. Dale Jr. slowly pulling away right now at the front of the field for Mark Martin in the 9. One car is slow on the back straightaway with an engine failure. And I'm not sure that the leaders are going to make it back around to him before that car is able to get to pit road, especially with the access pavement and the access road he can take at turns 3 and 4, whoever that may be. Should be a 3-stop race, I would have to assume, in tonight's action. We had just one caution in the truck race yesterday, and it was on lap 9, very early in the race. Much cleaner start, it looks like, at least at the front of the field for right now. Some tires down on the apron with the left sides. I can't tell who that car is on pit road. No way of being able to tell who that driver is that blew an engine. It didn't look like a blue car, though, so I don't think it's going to be Clint Boyer. Pit road pretty far away on the front stretch at Homestead, plus with the wall there, makes it also a little difficult to tell. Santiago Kid, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Bowman got a stage win, too, at Kansas. On stage 2 of that race. $10 likes already on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, thanks for tuning in. You don't have to apologize for being late, I understand. If you're not here right on time. You only missed the first 8 laps, nothing much. It seems like there's a lot of cars starting to pressure John Hamilton in 3rd place a little bit further back. So we know Dale Jr.'s definitely got some short run speed. He's had good finishes on 1.5 miles most of the season, but only one win. It was in the last 1.5 mile race at Texas where he ran probably one of his best Busch Series races all season. As far as how clean he ran the entire race. Trying to replicate that for a championship tonight. "22nd place finish, though, in the last race at Phoenix. Cut that points lead down to just 18. For this number 81 team. And while we're early in this race, we'll take our first field pass this time around. We'll go to Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car. Assuming he is still inside the top 5, which is not the case. He's in 7th. Clint Boyer just ahead of Truex in 6th. See if we can get Truex to catch up to Boyer, potentially pass him for position. 3 cars battling right now for 3rd, 4th, and 5th place on the racetrack that Boyer's starting to close in on. And Boyer qualified back in the 9th place spot, so he's up 3 positions from the start in these opening dozen laps. Busch Sr. came to see Dale Jr.'s first win in the Cup Series. He did. Junior's first Cup win was at Texas in 2000. He was... Actually, I'm pretty sure he was in victory lane for that, too. Junior got 2 wins his rookie year. Plus, he won the All-Star race also. Well, Truex closed in on Boyer, but he couldn't get around him. Go back to Dale Jr. again. Waiting to accelerate till we get to the back straightaway here. And now we'll launch. Still 0.7 of a second lead for Mark Martin in P2. Didn't alternate through any camera angles in the truck race last night, so we'll double down on that in this Busch Series race this evening as well. Reagan Fan 6, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Bubba Wallace did get his win. We'll alternate through those different camera angles for the first time of 4 in tonight's race. Quiet start to this championship race. Last night's race at Homestead was eventful pretty much all 200 miles. A lot calmer start in this one. We don't know exactly what this 81 car is going to be able to do in traffic, so he's going to try to keep this clean air as much as possible. And obviously leading a bunch of laps early is a good start. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. Bubba Wallace might be this generation's Jamie McMurray. I could definitely see that, honestly. Good super speedway racer, capable of winning at other tracks from time to time. Not a bad driver by any means, borderline playoff driver. Pretty much his whole career was McMurray. Some years he made it, some years he didn't. That's a good comparison. Maybe a potential future Daytona 500 champion like McMurray. Regine Huddleston, thanks for tuning in also. What's my car for tonight? As far as like handling goes, handling really well, at least 20 laps into the run, at least in clean air, and no practice laps in traffic. It's going to be interesting to see how this car is going to handle there. And obviously on the long run as well, how this is going to handle, which we're going to find out as we get deeper and deeper into this opening field run to start the race. And we'll make some adjustments accordingly, depending on if we have to or not, but right now it is fast from the get-go. This 81 crew definitely seemed to have nailed this setup from the start. A 1.3 second lead already over Mark Martin in second, assuming Martin is still in second place. And it looks like he is. A little bit of a gap over third. What?
Casey's here. You have to move your car.
I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Had to go move my car. Go back to the far chase camp for now. Lap 23 of 200. Some guy was supposed to pick up my sister's car for like the last couple weeks. Like kept never coming, and then he finally comes in the middle of the night. And then I went to move my car out of the way, and he left before I moved my car out of the way. So that was all for nothing. Status on Clint Boyer, as far as we know, he's in 6th place as of right now. Started 9th. And Dale Jr.'s led every lap from the pole so far and is out to a 1.5 second lead nearly over Mark Martin in 2nd. So a good start for Dale Jr. 25 laps in, trying to win the championship. Has to finish 2nd or better with a lap led. Obviously, he has led already the first 24 laps. So if he ends up getting the most laps led, then he can end up finishing 3rd and still win the championship if Boyer does win. So it gives him a little bit more of a cushion. So in a sense, it's not really where you run now, it's about where you finish. And if we have any cautions in today's race, which I'm sure we will, we've only had one caution-free Busch race, and that was at New Hampshire. We'll see how this is all going to play out. And the Busch Series has had more cautions than any of the other two series on an average on our NASCAR 06 gameplay. At least as far as this first season goes. Thanks for anybody new that's just tuned in. Also, Mark DeMar's Cars One Boy, thanks for tuning in. That was my sister that opened the door. She was trying to tell me to move my car. I don't know why he came in the middle of the night. I mean, I say middle of the night. It's like 8:30, but it's been dark outside for like an hour and a half. I don't understand why he's... I don't know. He's one of those guys that just kind of like procrastinates with a lot of stuff. Has an excuse for everything why he didn't do it. A lazy human being. Don't be like that. Hopefully none of you guys are like that. There's still 172 to go this time by. Long ways left to this one. Again, we're looking at likely a 3-stop race based off of the other 1.5 that we've had so far this season with this same distance. A lot of the Busch Series races are at this same distance for the 1.5 of 200 laps, 300 miles. Even today's Xfinity race is still on the 1.5, pretty much the same length. Almost always 200 laps, 300 miles. So strategy's pretty well documented, I guess, in this series for the 1.5 races. Junior bottoming out a little bit. A little wider entry that time. Running 21 pounds per square inch on the air pressure all the way around. Honestly, though, the way the run has gone so far, unless he gets really loose on the longer run, I don't think you're looking at any adjustment changes going on for Dale Jr. This car is the definition of a hot rod. Like Clint Boyer would like to say. Figured I'd use that saying, consider we're racing him for the championship tonight. A lot of clean air still in front of Earnhardt. Hooks that white line all the way through the corner. There's no audio? Has there been no audio this whole time? Let me know. No, the audio's working. It's got to be just you. You scared me for a second. I was thinking the audio wasn't working the whole time. No, audio's working fine. There's got to be something on your end. Scared me for a second. I thought I was just talking for no apparent reason for the first 32 laps. I've done that before. Not that far into the race. I've gone a couple laps in without realizing my audio wasn't on. Dale Jr. is not DNF'd in any of these Busch Series races this season, part of why he is leading the championship. Clint Boyer is DNF'd in 3 races, including just 2 races ago at Texas. Ended up flipping in that race, blew an engine later on, likely from the damage sustained in that violent accident he had with Dale Jr.'s teammate, coincidentally, Mark Truex Jr. Fastest lap of the race that last time by. Got into the 31.2s. About a 1/10 of a second quicker than what he had in his pole lap in qualifying. And out to a 2-second lead now for Dale Jr. Sorry, 32.2, not a 31.2. That lap was a 32.38. Car's a little loose off the exit of the corner at times. He's really got to be as steady as he can with the wheel. So that way he doesn't burn the rear tires up as much. Loose as fast if he can hang on to it. So far, he's been able to hang on to it pretty much with ease. At least making it look easy. Be nice if he doesn't have to deal with traffic this whole race and doesn't have to worry about potentially having to run this car in dirty air. With it being a little on the edgier side. I mean, my microphone works, it's just, you know, I started talking. So it's weird, it's because I unplug it every night, so sometimes when I plug it back in, I forget to sync it back up in OBS, so like I'll have it plugged in, but in OBS it's just not even like there. I have to physically put it back in again. Or put the setting in that the audio input's going through that microphone. So halfway of fuel at 37, which was about what we saw out of the Truck Series last night. Probably able to go a little over 70 laps on a full tank of fuel, so it might be looking more like a 2-stop race then for Dale Earnhardt Jr. rather than a 3-stopper. That's if it goes caution-free as well, likely looking at just 2 stops. Managing pretty well on fuel right now, on top of the fact that he's still running some really fast laps on a fairly consistent basis. Yeah, no need to risk it extremely far into the run if you're Dale Jr. on fuel. If you could go 70 laps, you're plenty good to make it on 2 stops. That would put you about 10 laps to the good after making the second stop to make it to the end of the race from there. As long as everybody else on the lead lap already pits. So I'm sure Clint Boyer is going to be one of the last cars to pit every time, I'd have to imagine. Or he tries to go off strategy, trying to be one of the first cars to pit and gain some time that way. I think whatever Dale Jr. does, Clint Boyer's going to do opposite. We know Dale Jr. is going to stay out as long as he can, so he does not want to get trapped a lap down. Boyer will take that risk, even early in the race, if it means that we don't get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops, and he can potentially gain a lot more time on Dale Jr. So if we can get about the same amount of fuel out of the Cup cars as these Busch Series cars tomorrow, it's likely going to be just a 3-stop race in the Cup Series tomorrow night at Homestead on a 1.5 miles with ease, really. There's 65 laps, probably looking at being just a couple laps shy to make it on 3 stops, so it would be a 4-stopper, but assuming these guys can go about the same, a little over 70 laps, easy 3-stop race tomorrow night. And you won't want to miss tomorrow night's race. 6 drivers have a shot at the championship going into the final race of the season. Dale Jr. sits 3rd, pretty much in the same points predicament as what we were in last night in the Truck Series, and showed it wasn't impossible. Ron Hornaday was able to get the championship, won it by 18 points over Ricky Craven, who finished 14th. Craven even led laps in the early going, led 20 laps in the first half of the race from the pole. Hornaday qualified 8th. He only led 3 laps up until taking the lead right around lap 81 after green flag pit stops, and was able to get the most laps led in the second half of the race, 46 led total. And fought hard there at the end of that race on those old tires. Used them up quite a bit early in the run. He didn't really have them late, but he fought through the adversity. Was running some of his fastest laps of the race even through it. At the end, was able to hold on and win under pressure. If he would have finished 3rd, he would not have won the title. So, and it was a 3-truck battle for the win there for those last 20 laps or so, too. So it was extremely entertaining. Caution's out for the first time today, lap 45. Interesting. Aaron Crocker will spin. Oh, man, hard into the wall goes. Crocker gets creamed by the 79 of Casey Kane on her way down the racetrack towards the grass off the exit of turn 2. Kane drilled her right in the right side. I think Kane's going to have quite a bit of damage. Dale Jr.'s going to stay out. He's going to keep the track position on these older tires right now. Actually, no, we're just going to pit. We're going to pit just in case the rest of the field pits. It looks like everybody's pitting. Smart move. Late decision to pit there. No adjustments for the 81 car, and hopefully they can have a fast first half of the race. Well, now with that caution coming out when it did, these guys not stretching it all the way through the fuel run, it might be a 3-stop race all of a sudden with the way that caution came out. So this will bunch the field back together again, and maybe a shot for some drivers to get out ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And this is going to be a great opportunity for that as a Jackman has fallen over, rounding the race car to get to the right side. This is already going to be a lengthy stop for Dale Jr., and he's definitely going to be losing multiple positions here. And he will not hold on to the lead as he has led every lap so far up until the caution. 16.7 second stop, and of all drivers to win the race off pit road, it's going to be Clint Boyer. Jr. loses 4 spots, falling from 1st to 5th, and Boyer now will get 5 bonus points, leading his first lap of the day. And he'll lead to the restart as the green flag is back in the air at lap 49. Well, that was definitely not what Dale Jr. needed. And now we're going to have to see what this car will handle like in traffic for the first time as he gets a pretty good launch on the restart initially. Got to the inside of the 138, but couldn't quite make the pass. And Junior took off really well on the restart. He's still underneath the 138 back straightaway. Mark Martin in second. Matt Kenseth third. Dale Jr. back to fourth. Kenseth to the inside of Martin for second. Off of turn 4. Boyer will lead his first green flag lap of the day. Kenseth by inches is in second over Martin. Martin comes down the track just a little bit to side draft his teammate. Both the 17 and the 9 going just a bit wide in turns 1 and 2. Bottom lane wide open for Dale Jr. Passes Martin quickly. Gets to the inside of Kenseth for second. Yeah, Boyer's Picker had a great stop. Dale Jr.'s team did not have a good stop at all. No shot. Dale Jr. holding on to the lead. He's up to second quickly. Quarter of the way home. So we know Dale Jr. was able to lead about 45 laps. Boyer's led the next 5, though. And Boyer leaves a lot of bottom open in turns 1 and 2. Dale Jr. didn't go all the way to the white line. Trying to side draft the left turn corner panel of 2 just a little bit. Side by side for the lead off the exit of the corner. So we still don't know exactly by the end of the run what Dale Jr.'s car is going to handle like. Probably still had about 25 or plus laps of fuel left in it. He's going to get around Clint Boyer for the lead. Matt Kenseth follows Dale Jr. to get to second. So Jr. not wasting any time. Gets right back out in front. But Boyer was able to get at least 5 bonus points at the very least. Good news with that caution is won't have to worry about lap traffic for quite some time. And obviously Dale Jr.'s car still handled well in traffic, at least on fresher tires. Or equally fresh tires. Challenging. First we really get a chance to see exactly what everybody else has for race cars and speed compared to the 81 now that they're next to them. And within striking distance. Boyer looking to get back into second place as he gets to the inside of Kenseth on the back straightaway, entering towards turns 3 and 4. And Boyer's back into P2. Pressure's on for both the 2 and the 81 to perform tonight. Fastest lap for Dale Jr. of the race that last time of 32.277. 54 laps in. 23 people watching in the early going of tonight's race. 15 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Just tuning in for the first time, we had a caution at lap 45. Aaron Crocker had lost control, spun into the outside wall in turns 1 and 2. Back down the track. Casey Kane hit her pretty hard, and a 2-car accident bringing out that first caution of the race. And make that caution 2 off the exit of turn 4. Might be debris from that first yellow. We'll have to wait and see. Middle of the front straightaway, it was debris, and it's off Aaron Crocker's race car. So debris off the 6 of Aaron Crocker will be caution number 2 tonight. Not going to be seeing any pit stops here. I'd have to imagine they only ran about 5 or 6 laps after the restart. Dale Jr. got back to the lead. Earnhardt Jr. versus Boyer again. Yeah, I mean, you kind of figured the 2 seasons these guys have had, it'd come down to this. Boyer had over a 300-point lead. Over 2 full races he was ahead of second at one point when Truex was in second earlier in the season. And the green flag back in the air. Jr. took off well on the first restart. The second restart looks like he's going to take off well also in turns 1 and 2. Got about a car length out ahead of the 2 of Boyer. Nice to know that Dale Jr.'s got the restart gear in it tonight. Something Hornaday didn't really have last night. The restart took place at lap 59 that time. This guy's able to save a little bit of fuel. About 3 laps worth under the caution. Caution again off turn 2, third of the race. Cautions breeding cautions all of a sudden here in the first third of tonight's race. More debris, this time off of Casey Kane's race car as his hood has come off. I'm not sure if it was the hood on the 6 that flew off before that. Looked like everybody missed a piece of debris to the outside. Yeah, it was Crocker's hood that fell off. So Crocker's hood and now Kane's hood is come off. We just had pit stops. Surprised they didn't repair more damage. And green flag back in the air again. So it sounds like Kenny Wallace blew an engine earlier in the race and is trying to get back out onto the racetrack to earn more points. I think he's outside the top 10, one of the Cup regulars. Trying to get back into this one. Lap 64 restart this time around. 3 cautions so far in the early going of the race. 2 for debris, 1 for a 2-car accident. And each of the cars in the wreck of Casey Kane and Aaron Crocker have each shedded a piece of debris. 1 piece per car. Bring out those last 2 cautions. Dale Jr. is definitely really tough to beat all around. Restart, short run, medium run. Still don't know about the very long run once we get over 50 laps in those last maybe 20 to 25 laps of the fuel and tire stint, because we haven't gotten that much of a green flag run yet. And he's good in traffic too, at least on relatively fresher tires. We just don't know about traffic on old tires and really old tires in general. We don't know what this 81 car will handle like. Billy Carjoy, thanks for tuning in. Junior left a little bit of the bottom open, kind of ran the middle lane through turns 1 and 2 that time. Clint Boyer was able to hook right around that white line. At least Boyer's got a shot to race with the 81. And there are some other competitive enough cars, and the more restarts we get, a bunch of the field back together, you never know. There could be an opportunity under the right circumstances. And Dale Jr., despite having the fastest car, could finish outside the top 2, and Boyer's right there. He is ready. If Jr. leads the most laps again, he can finish 3rd or better and win the championship if he does clinch the most laps led, which he's led a lot so far. Clint Boyer's only led about 7 laps at the most. And Junior's, I mean, he's led the rest. About 60 laps led already for Earnhardt tonight. Yep, doing commentary for Cup and Xfinity this weekend. Friday and Saturday night. Sure to tune in for both those races. We're going to take our final field pass of the race today. We'll transfer to the 8 car of Martin Truex Jr. as he's trying to make a pass to get back inside the top 10 on the 138 car. We'll slide job. Truex is going to be clear in the middle of turns 1 and 2. J.J. Haley getting a bit tight in the dirty air. Truex gets underneath him, hooked to that white line through turns 3 and 4. All 4 tires down onto the apron that time, off the exit of the corner as he makes the pass. 3 wide into turn 1 goes Truex down to the bottom of the racetrack. Clint Boyer, meanwhile, going to pass Dale Jr. for the lead towards the front. Truex has gained 3 spots already in less than a lap and a half as he's up to 7th place once again. Which is right where he was running the last time we had him. Matt Kenseth sliding into 2nd. Dale Jr. stuck on the outside lane, can't get to the bottom. The 9 of Mark Martin will get underneath him as well. This is the final field pass, though, so going to go back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. now as they enter turns 1 and 2. Jr. up high, Mark Martin down low. Jr. gets down to the bottom right in front of Kyle Busch off the exit of turn 2, looking to cross over Martin. Chance for Boyer to try and lead more laps. Junior has the grip, gets around Martin. Kyle Busch trying to do the same in the 5. so wide. Oh, Junior overdrove the corner trying to get by the 17 and Kenseth. Clipped the 17 and up into the outside wall he goes. Then couldn't get off the wall once he got connected to it. I think he was close enough behind the 2 that the car just kind of shoved a little tighter than what he was anticipating. Because it looked like he about had the pass complete. Had no intentions of trying a slide job. His car just kind of went up the track a little too much. Did get tight in the dirty air behind Mark Martin that time and makes a clean pass on Kenseth through 3 and 4 for 4th. Not going to hurt the 81 too much. First time he's scraped the wall, it was pretty lightly. Boyer's car bottoming out up at the front of the field. Looks like Junior's going to get back around Mark Martin as well. Only the 2 and the 81 have led laps today. Nobody else has. Kyle Busch, though, is closing in on the 2 of Bowyer for the race lead. Trying to play spoiler tonight to the 2 championship drivers. We had the championship 4 last night. We had a championship 2 tonight. We'll have a championship 6 tomorrow night. 33 people watching already. So currently, if the race were to end right now, Dale Jr. would win the title by a couple points over Clint Bowyer, because as of right now, Jr. has led more laps than the 2. So he would get the 10 bonus points. So he doesn't have to finish second or better if Bowyer wins, because that extra 5 bonus points would be an extra buffer spot for him. With Bowyer out in front right now. His pit crew has been great today. 1 for 1, getting him to the lead. Dale Jr.'s pit crew, the Jackman, made a mistake. Junior to the inside of Kyle Busch for second. Door-to-door, backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Junior with the advantage down low will clear Busch. And a bit of clean air, at least until now in the middle of the corner before the 2 moves down, but the 81 still hooks up in the middle of the corner. Really good exit. Massive run coming now on the 2 of Bowyer down the front straightaway. Junior just ran his fastest lap that last time, 32.238. Bowyer all the way to the outside. Dale Jr. with a wide arc into the corner. Clears Clint Bowyer off the exit of turn 2, and Earnhardt's back in the lead. Third different time today, Dale Jr. has led. Assuming he leads back to the start-finish line this time by to make it an official lead change. And he'll do just that. We'll have a trivia question at the halfway mark tonight as well, for those of you wondering. I think Bowyer pushed a bit too far through 3 and 4. Kyle Busch underneath him off the exit of the corner. And now side by side for second place in turns 1 and 2. Apron definitely very forgiving at Homestead, kind of similar to Kansas. I'd say even more so than Kansas. Probably similar to like a Las Vegas. So you're able to see these aggressive race lines actually work out for the 81, where at a lot of the other mile and a halves that would not be the case. Of course, fresher asphalt. 05 at Homestead versus say now, and obviously had that repaved reconfiguration in 2003, so it's only the 3rd race on this surface. Considering Homestead has had 1 race a year since it came into the Cup Series. Well, the 2 knows what he has for the 81 right now, and with likely 2 more pit stops left, it was looking like a 2-stop race earlier, but because of those cautions playing out and everybody pitted during the first yellow, it's now likely looking like a 3-stop race. So there's a couple more chances for Bowyer to try to make some adjustments, get himself faster than the 81. But with the laps Dale Jr. has led so far, if Bowyer can't get to the lead quickly and actually hold on and maybe pull away, And he might need just a little bit of help if he does win this race. So that means Junior would have to finish technically 4th or worse for Boyer to win the championship if Junior gets the most laps led, if Boyer goes on to win. And right now it's kind of a 3-car breakaway in 4th place. Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin falling behind a little bit. Should have 2 dates. Yeah, Homestead is, I'd probably say the best mile and a half on the circuit right now. That and Kansas are definitely the 2 best. I've never been to Homestead. I don't know about like the facility itself. If it's, I know Kansas this weekend, it kind of blew me away as far as like how updated the facility itself is. A lot more updated compared to most of the tracks I've been to. Well, the tracks I've been to, really only Daytona looked like it was more like state of the art. So Kansas definitely has that going for them. Very clean. Well taken care of. NASCAR 02, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Kyle Busch to RCR 2023. It was kind of almost determined before that. It sounds like it's a multi-year deal. We do know that now. We didn't know if it was going to be kind of multi-year, single year. There was speculation that, you know, maybe if it's just 1 year, he has that gap year, takes over for Reddick, and then, you know, maybe goes somewhere else, a more competitive team like an HMS, but that's not going to be the case now. Busch will be there at least through 2024 that we know of. And I think the shocking thing with that, Tyler Reddick's going to be in the 33 car next year in a 3rd charter. Did they specify where they got that charter from? I'm kind of curious. They bought out somebody's charter for next season. I feel like it would have to be either Spire Motorsports or Rickware Racing. It seems that Rickware Racing's kind of expanding in other motorsports right now. They downsized a bit in the Cup Series. I don't think they're downsizing anymore because I think he's going to want to keep Cody Ware in one car. I'd probably think that Spire Motorsports would be the charter that got sold, especially because that 77 car is only being ran by part-time drivers all season. I think they'll hang on to LaJoy and then probably got rid of the charter for the 77, I'd have to, if I had to guess. No, Jimmy Johnson not in the Busch Series. Kansas 2019 area was amazing. Yeah, it's actually a lot closer to the city of Kansas City than what I thought it was. I mean, literally the Kansas City water tower is like right next to the racetrack. I mean, it's pretty like far out towards the edge of Kansas City, but it's actually pretty much in it still. I never really knew that growing up until I was traveling there this weekend. I was like, oh, okay. I knew it was in the Kansas side, but not that far outside the city. Easy to get in and out of the track, too. There's a lot of connecting highways that definitely helped. But the flow of traffic going in and leaving was honestly about as perfect as it has ever been for me at a NASCAR race. And that was even with a fairly packed crowd. It wasn't sold out this weekend, but it was pretty close. I mean, it looked like every bit of 90-95% full. You have to let me know with the aerial shots on TV this weekend that I wasn't able to see for my seats, but around me in the various sections and just looking alongside the grandstands, because I was pretty close to the start-finish line, but both sides of the grandstands towards turn 1, turn 4, it looked pretty packed. Parking lot was pretty packed. Camping, there was a ton of people camping at the track. In the infield, outside. Had some cool areas where campers could kind of pull up pretty much all the way around the track on the outside of the track at a higher up view so you could still see the whole track from the outside. That'd probably be a good camping spot for anybody that likes to camp when going to NASCAR races. I think that stinks with camping in the infield. It's kind of tough to see the whole track unless you're spinning around in a circle the whole time. But a lot of great views that you could have from your camper at Kansas. It's just a great facility all the way around. And great racing, too. Oscar Ramirez Herrera, thanks for tuning in. One for Dale Jr. Kyle Busch still sitting second. Clint Boyer in third. Passed halfway through the second fuel run of the race. Didn't even get to a quarter tank of fuel before that first caution came out lap 45. And for those of you wondering, we've had 3 cautions so far today that kind of came out back to back to back. 2-car accident involving Aaron Crocker, Casey Kane, then a couple debris cautions in the few green flag laps we had on restarts after the fact. Clint Boyer has led 2 different times today. And he got his first lead of the race because of winning the race off of pit road. Dale Jr.'s picked her at a very slow stop, lost 4 spots. Jackman tripped, rounding the car on the right side. Quick correction there, never had to really lift out of the throttle any extra. I just saw the car start to get a bit loose. Of course, Jr. had to use his tires up a little bit more at the beginning of this run, considering that he wasn't restarting in the lead like he had the first run where he just started out in front and pulled away from the get-go. He is starting to pull away the longer we get into the run, though. Seems like he's slowly getting faster and faster, at least in comparison to the rest of the field, where has just less fall-off. And he's out to about a 9/10, almost a full 1-second lead. No Torres, thanks for tuning in also. And we're about 7 laps away from the halfway mark now. And again, we'll have tonight's trivia question along the way with that. If it is to be just a 1-stopper to the end of the race from here, we're looking at about 73 to 74 laps roughly on a full tank, which is similar to the Truck Series last night. And these Busch Series cars, about the similar fuel window at Homestead in this game. It's not impossible that Dale Jr. could get there. I think with those 2 cautions we had after the pit stops, that's 6 laps of fuel these guys were able to save. That might be enough to still be a 2-stop race, even with everybody pitting during the first caution. See if other drivers are just going to try to split it in 2, but Dale Jr. is going to try to make it in 1 if he can make it in 1. Doesn't want to push it too far. I mean, if he gets close enough towards the end of the run and he looks like he's about 5-6 laps short, he's not going to push it by any means. But if he looks like he's going to be right on the money, he's going to push it. Especially if everybody else is still trying to push it as well. I mean, you're kind of forced to. Everybody else pits twice and you only pit once. He's got a fast car, probably the fastest car in the field tonight, but he's not that fast. He's not going to make up a full lap under green flag conditions, so if it did stay green to the end, you know, Dale Jr. would not win the championship if that were the case, so he's going to have to try to make this on 1, at least by the way everything's playing out right now. You know the caution's going to come out. I mentioned the Busch Series seems to get more yellows than the other 2 series in this game. We only had 1 yellow in the truck race yesterday. We had 3 of them in the first, 65 laps of tonight's race? I think lap 62 was that last caution. 61, somewhere around there. Second longest green flag run of the race going on currently. And no lap traffic with all 3 yellows so far that the leaders have had to deal with. We haven't seen Dale Jr. super late in the run, so we'll see if he's still able to keep the tires underneath him, manage the tire wear well enough by the time we get into the final 20 to 25 laps of the run that it doesn't fade too much. Hardest of the championships to win, though, is going to be that Cup Series title tomorrow, because we are going in 3rd in points, so we have to beat out 2 other drivers. The truck race last night, we kind of only had to beat out 1, even though 4 drivers had a shot going in, we were 2nd. They're only 34 out of 1st as well, versus in tomorrow night's race, we're going to be 62 points, or 58, 59 points out of 1st. I think 59, if I remember correctly. We gained 62 points in the race before that, so it's not impossible. We're going to have to basically replicate the performance at Phoenix, again at Homestead, but if tonight's any indication, Dale Jr. can nail the setup. He's getting some experience in the field, behind some drivers on restarts. Dale Jr. looking pretty sporty tonight. Hopefully he can be sporty again tomorrow night. He's going to need it. He's definitely going to have to go out and lead the most laps tomorrow. He didn't have to do that today. But he's looking well on his way to doing that as we are halfway home this time by. Still sitting at about a 9/10 of a second to a 1 second lead even. Flynn Boyer's still in third right now, but Kyle Busch has really pulled away from him. So we are halfway officially in tonight's race, and our trivia question is, who is the only driver in NASCAR history to win both the Xfinity Series and Cup Series races at Homestead in the same weekend? Again, that is tonight's trivia question. Who is the only driver in NASCAR history to win both the Xfinity and Cup races at Homestead in the same weekend? Don't have to name the year, but you have to name the driver. We'll see if you guys can get that driver correct. Obviously, again, first to do so, I'll shout you out, and you'll have until lap 110 to get that trivia question correct. No hints. It is not Denny Hamlin. Right in the middle of turns 1 and 2 that last time the right rear tire got into the yellow and the tire wear indicator. Junior got a bit loose in the center of the corner. If he's loose anywhere, it seems to be off exit. He's fine rolling in the first half. It is not Kyle Larson. Larson's never won a Cup race at Homestead. More steady with the wheel that time is Junior. Off the exit of turn 2. Mark DeMars did get it. Carl Edwards. Junior got really loose off turn 4 that time. A lot looser than what he had a couple corners or a couple laps earlier in turns 1 and 2. Busch about 0.2 of a second quicker than Dale Jr. that last lap. But Carl Edwards, 2008. It's the only driver in NASCAR history to win both the Xfinity and Cup Series races at Homestead in the same season. Again, Edwards in 08 was the answer. The lower exit to the corner, the less loose Dale Jr. is on these older tires. Quarter tank of gas left. 95 laps to go. So can Dale Jr. go about another 21 laps before he has to pit? If he can do so, he may be able to stretch this race on just one more stop. It's going to be really close. So that timing of that first caution, plus the 2 cautions we had after that, these drivers all stayed out under. Have they saved enough fuel to try to make it on just one more stop? It is going to be interesting to see if that will be the case. Right now, we'll alternate through the different camera angles once again. Third out of 4 times in tonight's race for about a half a dozen laps. Just barely in the second half. It does seem like turn 4 off the exit's a little harder for Dale Jr. than turn 2. And it sounds like some of the leaders are pitting this time, so they're not even going to try to risk it on fuel. And I wouldn't be surprised if Clint Boyer is either on pit road already or is going to work his way into the pit sometime soon. I do not blame him if he tries to go off strategy, because he's got to find a way to win this race. And just hope that Kyle Busch can beat Dale Jr. on top of it for him to win the title. Or somebody on a late race restart or something. And that left rear tire starting to go away on the 81 of Dale Jr. now as well. Fastest lap of the race that last time for Dale Jr., 32.177. Despite the tires loosening up, he is still putting together some great laps. I think this is the first time he's ran a 32.1 all race. This late in the run, too. Well, Dale Jr. just bested his fastest lap of the race the next time after setting his fastest lap just the lap before, 1/1000th of a second quicker. 32.176 that time versus the 32.177 the lap before. Jr. just kind of power sliding his way through the corners right now. Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 on his way in. Kyle Busch still staying out. I think the 2 of Clint Boyer is pit because I don't really see him anywhere in the vicinity. 32.074, almost a full 10th quicker. Dale Jr. is picking him up and putting him down as far as these lap times right now. Car's very loose, but he can steer his way out of it, not overcorrect it a little too much. It's fast, it's edgy late in the run. If he's put under pressure late in the race, it's not something he would necessarily want. But that wasn't great either. That was a big catch he had to make. Just clinched the most laps led at the start-finish line, so now Dale Jr. automatically will not have to finish second or better to win tonight's championship. He has to finish third or better to win the title if Boyer wins. And this car is just, it's getting extremely loose right now, and I'm not sure Dale Jr. is going to be able to go much longer on these tires without perhaps losing even more control. We'll go back to the far chase cam for now. He'd like to try to stretch this run out, but he is only got about 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. I still don't even know if he can go another 14 laps. He's gonna pit this time. Because if he ends up wrecking, he cannot pit for fuel or tires. So you might as well pit if you're Earnhardt. This car is way too loose late in the run. He's out of the gas. He's kind of slowly on the brakes and on his way into the pits. 4 tires of fuel. No adjustments on the 81 car. It's fast, but it's a little too much late in the run. Doesn't want to risk the speed he has the first 3/4 of the run, though, so he's going to pit. And the 2, if he pitted before, we'll see if he can cycle out in front of Dale Jr. I think Kyle Busch, pitted about 2 laps before Earnhardt. So, I mean, Jr. might have potentially made it on 1 stop on fuel if he could have went about another 13 more laps, but it was so loose. He was starting to get wrecking loose there those last few laps. Off and away goes, clean stop for the 81 that time around. And we'll see if he can hold on to the lead. I doubt it. Him staying out a lot longer than everybody else. Little slide on the excess pavement. Even though Dale Jr. pitted pretty late in the run, he is going to come out with about a 6/10 of a second lead over Kyle Busch. So Earnhardt's still out in front at Homestead. Everybody on the lead lap has pit. And nobody is actually a lap down of those on track. So there you go. It's amazing how quick that cliff was for Jr. He was running his fastest laps of the day, and then the car just went in the snap of your fingers, flip of a switch. It just shut down as far as handling. It's crazy. Loose as fast if he can hang on to it. He was hanging on to it for about 3/4 of the run, but couldn't hang on to it anymore. Feels nice to have the fresh tires back on, though, I'm sure. We haven't seen lap traffic at all yet today, and we're about to see that fairly soon. So it is a 3-stop race. Everybody pitting early because of their tires, not so much the fuel. But it is impossible to make it on fuel to the end anyway. And I'm sure we'll see some drivers try to short pit as soon as that window opens, or when they feel comfortable trying to make it as far as tire wear goes. I think Boyer's at 4th place. A little bit further back. He lost a spot during green flag pit stops. Right behind the 3rd place car. Whoever it is in 3rd. Boyer's been top 5 pretty much ever since that first caution. I mean, honestly, this is as far back as he's been since the first yellow, which is 4th. Junior's been top 5 all night. On 32 ones. Again, first time Dale Jr. is going to have to deal with lap traffic. .32.075 that last lap. A lot of lap traffic up ahead, all battling for position towards the tail end of the field. Looks like they're fanning out to about 3 wide, back straightaway. Roughly a second ahead of Earnhardt. Side by side in the corner. One car went way wide, almost made contact with another. There is still 2 sets of tires left at the end of the race, for those of you wondering. There are rules. You're just getting around the lap traffic cleanly so far. Nearly 3 wide as he goes down to the bottom lane. Clearing 2 lappers that time. He's getting through the lap traffic pretty well so far. A lot better than at Phoenix. Struggling lap traffic at Phoenix. .32.025 that last lap, fastest of the race for Dale Jr. Side draft on the 116. Pinching Dale Jr. off just a bit. Jr. going to make the pass. About a 1.9 second lead. He's definitely pulling away. He got through the lap cars a lot quicker than I was thinking. 32.062. There were no adjustment changes made. Dale Jr. is just running some bad fast laps right now. Again, including his fastest of the race moments ago. Even in the heat of passing a bunch of lap cars. 33 people watch right now. Again, be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Only 21 likes on the stream. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. Thriller of a championship truck series race last night at Homestead. A little more tame in this Busch series race today. Although the championship battle much tighter coming in. A little contact. 137. Dale Jr. going to make a pass. At least it was on the straightaway when they made contact, not in the middle of the corner. Expecting a 31.9 in short time. It's possible. Get more clean air. It's not going to be this lap with that contact on the end of the front stretch the last time by. Yeah, 32.1. This is the largest lead Dale Jr.'s had today, 2.5 seconds. I mean, this car is literally the full package. At least until you get in those final, like, 5 to 10 laps of the run. Then, not so much. It falls off a cliff in a hurry, but for about 55 laps or so, 60 laps into a fuel run, this car's perfect. It's got the speed. It has the handling. And it's good in traffic. Check marks all 3 boxes. And as we all know, clean air is king. .222 that last lap. I think the big thing for Dale Jr., and it's going to be tough to tell right now because he's so far ahead of Boyer as far as interval time goes. He'd like to stay on the same strategy as the 2. If the 2 short pits, as soon as that window opens to the end, I think Dale Jr., if he ends up finding out or ever finds out, I think it's best for him to just pit with Boyer. Because as long as Boyer finishes within 2 positions ahead of Dale Jr., Junior's going to win the title because he's already locked the most laps led in. 3 or more spots, then Boyer's looking at a potential championship, especially if Boyer wins. It'd be 3 spots or worse for Dale Jr. behind the 2. If the 2 goes off strategy, nobody else in the top 5, say, pits as soon as that window opens. He's going to make up a lot of time. There's a very fast green flag stop the first time for Dale Jr. Hopefully they can replicate that the second time. Making up for that lost cause of when they had an earlier yellow. And that field window, by the way, is open right now because we have just 71 to go. Dale Jr., that first full green flag run towards the beginning of the race, he got halfway through fuel. It looked like 73 to 74 laps is about as far as he could push it on fuel. And it's just the tires is why nobody's wanting to pit right now. Can't blame them. Well, if a caution came out now forcing everybody to have to go that far, that would probably be the worst thing, I think, for Dale Jr. Knowing how bad the car is after 55, 60 laps into a run. We get a late yellow. I think he feels confident in his race car, even if he loses spots on pit road, that he can easily get it back and then pull away on a long run, or a medium-length run at least. If we have a caution with more than 55 laps to go, that could be worrisome for Dale Jr. You never know under any restart. Even if Junior takes off well, car in second takes off better, and if it's Boyer, Boyer may move Junior out of the way to try to win the championship. The 2 had a heated rivalry middle of the season. It's kind of calmed down later in the year. Just a smidge at least. Intensity's still there. They've been racing each other a lot more respectively those last 3 or 4 races. I have Chase Elliott winning the championship this year. Here's my pick before the season started. My pick before the playoffs started. He's my pick this week, even though he struggled these first 2 playoff races. He's got another road course coming up yet, and that's where he was really able to spark momentum late in the season in 2020 when he won the championship, won 3 of the last 5 races. Won the Roval, won Martinsville, won Phoenix. I don't see why he can't do that again. Junior just continuously pulling away, 4.2 seconds ahead. Gonna alternate through the different camera angles one more time. Well, Mark, there's the 31 that last lap. Fastest lap of the race again for Dale Jr. of a 31.996. It's in the 31.2s. 31.3s actually his qualifying lap. Maybe he could have dropped down to the 2s if he would have ran another lap, but he got the pole in lap 1, so he didn't even run a second lap. This car's got some speed, and he's becoming more and more confident as this race carries on. Still 65 laps to go. One more stop away for the rest of the field. It was a 2-stopper at the start. It's a 3-stopper with the caution. Lowe Jr. was off turn 4 trying to get around the lap car. Tire's still relatively fresher. He's able to get it to grip up down there. Staying as far away from cars as possible just in case crazy things happen, as we've seen so many times with this game, including the last two. I mean, the last two truck races of the season were definitely crazy. The entire chase has been crazy so far in the Cup side. A little more tame these last couple Busch races between Phoenix and so far tonight at Homestead. Doesn't take much though. I mean, just think, if Clint Bowyer didn't blow an engine at Texas, he's probably still got a big championship lead, considering Dale Jr. finished 22nd at Phoenix. Couldn't have had a better bounce-back race, at least to this point, through 139 laps if you're Dale Jr. I think that's a 64 of Jamie McMurray, who's the last car in the lead lap up ahead. Oh, blown engine, Martin Truex. Actually, no, never mind. It might not be an engine failure. I think we've got some drivers short pitting. Window's been open to the end of the race for a little bit now, but nobody's pitted until now with 61 laps to go. Truex is in. I'm assuming that's a scheduled stop. We'll know in a couple laps if Truex is back on the track or not. Truex is on pit road currently. Truex can still finish as high as third in the point standings. Coming into the race today, we'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the going. 60 laps remain. 5.2 second lead. Got more cars coming into the pits this time around as well. I would think it was a scheduled pit stop for Truex, but that red X hasn't come off of his... There it goes. Must be up to speed now. Big blocks by Jamie McMurray in the 64. He may be pitting this time. Nope. Just blocking Junior, trying to stay in the lead lap. Junior finally able to battle around him. About halfway through this fuel run right now for the 81 of Earnhardt. R6, welcome into the stream. Seven laps to go at Homestead-Miami Speedway in this Busch Series Championship race. Full season points format. 18 points is the difference between Earnhardt and Bowyer coming into the race tonight. Junior has to finish second or better. Coming into the race with at least one lap led to win the championship. He has clinched the most laps led, so now he can finish third or better and win the title if Clint Bowyer does win. Bowyer's been top 5 most of the race. Dale Jr.'s been top 5 all race. Junior's definitely got the fastest car in the field. Bowyer's got his work cut out for him if he's not only going to beat the 81, but also he's going to have to hope somebody else can also beat the 81. Make that 2 people, considering Junior's led the most laps now. So Junior would have to finish 4th or worse now if Bowyer wins for Clint Bowyer to win the championship. The top 3 would clinch it for Dale Jr. One more pit stop still to go for the 81. We've had some drivers that have pitted under green flag conditions already. the largest lead of the day for Dale Jr. of 5.3 seconds, really pulling away since those green flag pit stops. Junior was the last lead lap car to pit the last time. I think he might try that again. You don't want to push his tires too far, but we don't know if Clint Boyer's pit or not, just in case we get a caution in the middle of green flag stops. Last thing you would want, Boyer to be on the lead lap still, Junior to not be, and Boyer just beats Junior by more than 3 positions, and Boyer's the champion. It'd be really hard if Dale Jr.'s a lap down, especially this late in the race, because the next stop is the last. He was definitely able to drive to within 1/8 of a tank of fuel the last time before it really started to get loose on him, and there was no adjustment changes. Junior's so fast the first 3/4 of the run, and proving that again in this run, that's why he didn't want to change anything. There's so much grip until, again, about that 55 to 60 lap mark in the fuel and tire stint. Makes a clean pass on the 119 car. A lot of clean passes for Junior today. He's just ran a nearly perfect race from a driver's standpoint. I mean, if his picker didn't cost him any spots on pit road earlier, I mean, he may have the potential of leading every lap today. Again, on the 1.5 miles, Texas, just 2 races ago, is the only 1.5 mile track win in the Busch Series for Dale Jr. Definitely not something normal we've seen all year on these 1.5 mile racetracks. 50 laps to go. This time by will be 3/4 of the way home to crowning a Busch Series champion for this 2005 season. No more driver swaps. No more alternating through the different camera angles. We are set to go to the finish. No clue if Kyle Busch has pit yet, if he's even still the second place car. It could be another reason why Junior's got his largest lead of the race. 32.098. I think Busch has stayed out though. I feel like I haven't seen that interval cut back a wide margin in 1 lap, so it makes me believe Busch is still out there and hasn't made his final stop yet. Yeah, I lost week 1 of my fantasy football. I lost by 6 points. The guy I was playing had the Minnesota Vikings defense that scored him 19. We have bonus points for however many points you hold a team under 20. And because the Packers only scored 7 points, he ended up outscoring me. I mean, he beat me by 6. Packers just would have put up 1 more touchdown, I would have won. I blame my own team for losing fantasy football this weekend. Then my quarterback got hurt, Dak Prescott. He only scored me 9, so that didn't help either. I got Matt Ryan as a backup, but I don't want to rely on Matt Ryan as my starting QB every week, but it looks like I'm going to have to until Prescott comes back. Doubt he's going to be able to play through it. Consistent with 32 O's. Yeah, pretty much this entire run, I've very rarely seen 32 2s. Even 32 1s for that matter. I only saw 31-9 that one time. Junior got really fast right before his car got extremely loose during the last fuel and tire stint. Waiting on that to happen this time. Although running a 31-1 early in this time frame, I don't know that he's going to get faster than that. Or 31-9, sorry, not 31-1. 31-1 would be pretty ludicrous. Maybe not in the Cup Series. Busch Series, on the other hand, I'd be asking for a lot. Too much. I mean, I have Travis Kelce on my team. I took him in the 2nd round. He wasn't taken yet, and I'm like, yep, I'll take him. I mean, he's literally the only tight end in the league that puts numbers up like a wide receiver on a weekly basis. Like every now and then, George Kittle will have ginormous games, or like a Darren Waller will have like a monster game from time to time, but Kelsey's is just on a consistent basis, just consistently good points. All the other tight ends, they're either there or they don't. Kelsey's reliable week in, week out. He's not that injury prone too compared to, you know, George Kittle, who seems to get hurt a lot. Or even like Gronk, when he was healthy, he was great, but he was injury prone a lot. Kelsey got hurt for a couple of games last year, but that was it. Make that 44 laps to go. 6.8 second lead for Dale Jr. And Jr. looking to make a pass on another lap car. Deep dive into turns 3 and 4, and they'll make that easy pass. Made it look easy at least. Number 32-0. Junior's still on high alert just in case we get an accident. Now the field's more spaced apart now than ever before in this race. Under our currently longest green flag run of the race. Almost 100 laps into this green flag run. We had those 3 cautions very early. Last restart was at lap 65. So about 93 laps roughly into this green flag run. Right rear starting to wear out on the 81 just a bit. Yeah, there's no reason to sit Mahomes. Even if he has an off week, or even back-to-back, like off weeks middle of the season, you got to keep starting him. So then it'll start biting you if you start sitting him. Even when he was playing hurt, either last year or the year before, can't remember exactly what year, but he was kind of playing with an injury the second half of the regular season. He was still putting up ginormous numbers. He wasn't even that mobile. He's playing, you got to start him. Even if he's banged up a bit. "39 laps to go this time by. Came about made contact with the car. He's battling side by side with a lot of lap traffic around Dale Jr. right now. Almost 4 wide there for a second. They were 3 wide. Going into turns 3 and 4, Jr. able to blow around him. Trying to get by the 79 of Casey Kane as he looks low off of turn 4. Contact with Kane going into turns 1 and 2. Hangs on, clears the 79, a little bit arrow loose. Once he moved up in front of the 79 car, a little air taken off the rear spoiler of Dale Jr.'s race car. Kane back to the inside, trying to get back on the lead lap. And he'll do so. Dale Jr. going to try to cross him back over. 8.5 second lead. Kane crowds the 81. Dale Jr. going to get back around him. Both rear tires in the yellow right now. I think Junior's got a big enough lead. He might still be on the lead lap after he pits. Being 8.5 seconds ahead. If that's the case, short pitting won't hurt him. That, and he's so far ahead now, too. He'd have to have an extremely slow stop for it to extremely hurt him. Yeah, he got aero loose again with the 79 right on his back bumper. Oh, J.J. Yaley got squeezed into the wall, bit by, it looked like Eric Crocker in the 6. Junior's going to pit this time. He's going to take the excess road, stay out of everybody's way. Doesn't want to risk getting ran over. Dale Jr. on it. Oh, can't spin, can't spin. Okay, he's in. Almost looped it there for a second. A little fishtail. Dale Jr.'s in the pits. Used the excess road that time. Took it easy. Wanted to make sure he wasn't going to speed. Final pit stop of the race for Dale Jr. Hopefully Clint Boyer has pitted already. If not, hopefully Dale Jr. doesn't go a lap down. It's going to be close. At the very least, hopefully he's in the free pass position. But not everybody has pitted yet. Dale Jr. definitely pitting a lot earlier into this run. May have burned out his tires a little bit more. Only going to have to go 35 laps on these tires now. Kyle Busch still on the racetrack. Kyle Busch is the leader. Junior a lap down. Get by Jamie McMurray. That's going to be a spot. Dale Jr. up to 9th. Kyle Busch still on the racetrack. He's got a lap car under him. Not sure if it's somebody who was pitted or not. Jr. may be in the free pass position. If not, the car right behind Kyle Busch right now would be in the free pass position. Busch trying to stay out as long as he can. Hope for a caution, so it traps these guys a lap down. Especially Dale Jr. with having the fastest car of the race. It was not a bad stop by any means for Jr. Busch stays out at least another lap. He's really pushing it on those fuel and tires. More so the tires than the fuel. Once everything cycles out, Junior should get back in the lead again. He's up to 6th. The longer Kyle Busch stays out, the more Dale Jr.'s lead's going to grow, considering Junior pitted at least a few laps before Busch. Busch pitted 2 laps before Earnhardt the last time. Kyle Busch going to stay out another lap. I think Kyle Busch should stay out until Dale Jr. unlaps himself at this point. He's already stayed out longer than him. He's going to lose time regardless. Stay out just in case that caution comes out, and as soon as Jr. gets around you, I think you pit that next time. Corner entry for Earnhardt. Underneath the 106, Kyle Busch on the outside, older tires. Jr. up to 3rd. Can't quite clear Kyle Busch yet. Busch will stay out this time by, but Dale Jr. is back on the lead lap in 3rd. Top 2 still have to pit. I think 2nd place is in right now. Yep, Jr. up to P2. Kyle Busch still on the racetrack. So Kyle Busch, the only driver that still has to hit pit road for the 3rd and final time tonight. 30 laps to go. 29, I guess, technically for Busch. These are the first laps Busch has led today. He's not running for points, though, being a Cup Series regular now. He's not run the full season here. Wade Selensky, thanks for tuning in. I'm surprised how far Kyle Busch is willing to stretch it. I think Dale Jr. has to pit again, though, if a caution comes out. before Busch pits. Because Busch is going to have a little bit fresher tires on him. It sounds like Busch may be on his way in right now. And he is. He's on the excess road. Kyle Busch on his way into the pits. Junior gets by lap car Bobby Labonte down to the apron with all 4 tires through 3 at 4. Won't have to worry about the tires getting extremely worn out to the end of the race now. Next flag Dale Jr. wants to see is that white flag, then the checker. One car blowing up, apron of the racetrack. Looked to be one of the fantasy drivers. I think it was the 135. I think the 135 car is blowing an engine on the front stretch right now. Big block by Brandon Miller. Dale Jr. trying to get around him. By the way, Dale Jr.'s got about a little over a 10-second lead. Almost 11 seconds. And 11-second lead for Dale Jr., his largest of the race. 26 laps to go. Just needs it to stay green, and he's going to be the champ and the race winner. Second straight night, we'll see the champion also win the season finale. 135 still trying to make it in the pits. He's staying way out of the way. He's not taking the excess road, but he's in the grass. 25 laps left. And definitely not sure where Clint Boyer cycled out of the green flag stops. Maybe not as much pressure tonight, though. Not only with the points lead, but the fact Dale Jr. has 2 Xfinity titles. I guess, again, at this time, Busch Series championships. He's been here, he's done it before. These similar circumstances. But has never won a Cup Series championship, and we're going to try to do that tomorrow night. Quite a few cars definitely a lap down right now as well. Flag run at the line this time will hit about 114 laps since the latest caution. Couple cars going 2x2 just up ahead. Getting blocked big time on the front straightaway. Kind of let that car ahead of him go into turns 1 and 2, and then gets to the inside off the exit of turn 2. $20 laps to go at the line for Dale Jr. Brandon Wheeler, thanks for tuning in. Heaviest lap traffic we've seen around Junior in a while. A little contact from the 152 car. Trying to throw a block, hanging on to the lead lap. Too much desperation there out of the 152. Junior holds on to his race car. 3 wide to the bottom and turns 3 and 4. He'll make a pass there, a couple of them. Knocked that lead down about a half a second that last lap. Contact from the 152. Really uncalled for Junior's sake. Sure he didn't appreciate it, but he's going to put it behind him quickly and just drive on. $18 laps to go for Dale Jr. If we talk about tomorrow night's Cup Series race just a little bit more, even though we still have laps to go yet in tonight's race, Junior's going to have to qualify well. He's got to make sure Gordon and Edwards do not lead any laps in tomorrow night's race, because Junior's going to need all the points he can get. Very tight battle between P1 and P2, similar to the Truck Series when they went into Phoenix. Even tighter than what this Busch Series battle is coming into tonight's race between P1 and P2. And again, 6 drivers have a shot at the championship tomorrow. We've been talking about Edwards, Gordon, Earnhardt. There's still 3 other drivers that still have a shot yet. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch. They all have a shot at the championship as well. Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson being the long shots, but the other 4 within 100 points of the lead. 190 points is the most he could score in a single race. The most he could outscore another driver by if you lead the most laps win. And then the driver, say the points leader for instance, finishes last with no laps led, gain 156 points. Win at all costs. We need to lead the most laps at all costs and just hope the 99 and the 24 don't lead. It's a little different tonight. We were able to short pit. Boyer didn't lead any laps during it, but we can't do that tomorrow. We need to go as far as possible on the run and hope that the 24 and the 99 don't catch up. So we're going to need a little bit better long run speed. And not really long run speed. The long run speed's been here for the 81 with the handling on the long run, so that way Dale Jr. can actually go the full fuel run and not have to pit early like tonight because his tires wear out a bit too much. Because of how loose the car is all the way through the run. The rear tires can't sustain that kind of pressure on them. Not air pressure, but just heat buildup, I guess. The rear tires over the course of the run that far. 55, 60 laps, that's about it. But if it's like the Busch of the Truck Series, we're going to go about 73 to 74 laps roughly on a full tank of fuel. He's going to try to make it in 3 stops. Depending on how the cautions play, obviously. It's looking like a 2-stop race today until had a few early cautions that kind of made this a 3-stopper with everybody pitting during that first caution, lap 45. Despite the fact they had almost 30 full laps of fuel left in the tank. The way that lead is still growing after Dale Jr. is able to get around those few lap cars that were racing him hard. I think Kyle Busch has a problem. It was a 12-second lead there just a couple seconds ago, and now it's out to about a 17-second lead almost between P1 and P2. Haven't seen anybody blowing smoke yet. But if somebody is, I think Kyle Busch may have just gotten into a problem. It's going to be more points for Clint Boyer. Still not going to be enough for the championship. There he is. So Kyle Busch has just blown an engine in the final Busch Series race of the year. 10 laps to go at Homestead now, and the lead is over half a track over second place. And I wonder if that puts Boyer into second. Probably either him, Mark Martin, or Matt Kenseth is in second place now. And although that's more spots for Boyer, Kyle Busch has probably got the second fastest car in the field, and he's out. So if we do get a late race restart and one more opportunity for anybody to try to beat Dale Jr. and Boyer to win this race as well as win the championship, somebody else could have to step up and also get by the 81 other than just Boyer. Actually, two other drivers. It'd probably have to be both Martin and Kenseth, assuming they're still in the top three. Very least top four. Fourth or better wins the championship, right? Or I should say third or better wins the championship for Dale Jr. as of right now. 17-second lead, 8 laps to go at the line. Looks like J.J. Yaley's the last car in the lead lap. Case Kane just in front of him. Kane involved in that wreck earlier in the race. Still trying to hold on to that lead lap positioning. 6 laps to go at the line. Very calm second half of the race for Dale Jr. Kane slides up, going to make 2 passes for position this lap. I believe that's actually Matt Kenseth in the 17, trapped behind a lap car who just lost a spot to Kane, and now Yaley in turns 3 and 4 as well. Never mind, it is not Kenseth. I thought it was the Waste Management colors. Not quite. One of the fantasy drivers, I believe the 86 car. 5 to go. Junior's just lapped another couple cars. Gets to the inside of J.J. Yaley in turns 1 and 2. Assuming Casey Kane's still without a hood in the 79, trudging on. Junior to the inside of Kane. Four laps to go. Caution comes out now. The race will likely end under yellow. Although you never know. 32.071 that last lap for Dale Jr. Some of the fastest laps of the race again. Even with a 17.5 plus second lead. Championship on lock. Barring something catastrophic in these final 3.5 laps. Cars side by side, running each other tightly through turns 3 and 4. Still side by side up ahead on the front stretch. 2 laps to go for Dale Jr. 3 miles away from victory in his 3rd career NASCAR Busch Series Championship. What a season for Dale Jr. Was over 500 points out of first. Outside the top 10 in points at that point in time. Clint Boyer, who had over a 300-point lead, over 2 full races worth of points ahead of second. at one point in time in the second half of the season, nonetheless. But 3 DNFs in the final dozen races for Bowyer, including one in the third to last race of the year at Texas. That one was definitely the difference maker of the 3. Especially Dale Jr. going on to win the race that day and lead the most laps. Dale Jr. will do the same today, winning the last 2.5-mile races on the schedule, and the championship is his. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has just won his 3rd career NASCAR Busch Series championship, and he has won the Ford 300 tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Do you believe in miracles, ladies and gentlemen? Don't call it a comeback. Well, we made up 2 points deficits. Maybe the third isn't the biggest, but at least into the final race it would be. 59 points. Dale Jr. is going to have to close in on the Cup Series title tomorrow night and beat both Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards, who are ahead of him, as well as 3 drivers behind him in points. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch as well. Check out tonight's race stats, though, before we get out of here. 180 laps ahead of 200. Dale Jr. led all but 20 laps today from the pole. 17.8 seconds margin to victory. 2 hours, 1 minute total time in today's race. 3 cautions for 9 caution laps, all in the first 62 laps of the race. 9 total lead changes, 148.1 miles per hour average race speed. Matt Kenseth ends up finishing 2nd. Mark Martin 3rd. Clint Bowyer, he led 11 laps today. His picker did a great job. Great job by Bowyer overall. Top 5 finish, but was not good enough. He'll finish 2nd in the point standings. Brian Vickers ends up rounding out the top 5. Michael Jourdain Jr. with an impressive run after starting deep in the field will finish 6th. Smith ends up finishing in 7th. Martin Truex Jr. will end up finishing 8th. No wins for our teammate Truex this season, unfortunately. Terry Raines ends up finishing 9th, and Casey Kane will round out the top 10. Just 9 cars finished on the lead lap in tonight's race. Could come back for Kane to get a top 10 after wrecking earlier on in the day. And we had just a couple engine failures in this race. Kenny Wallace, Taylor, Lance Trigger, Irvin. And then we saw Kyle Busch blow an engine late as well. That's going to wrap it up. So it looked like we had 5 DNFs. And then we get to see Dale Jr. in victory lane with a championship trophy in the Busch Series. That does not look like Dale Jr. whatsoever, but it is, I guess, technically in this game. That is the worst looking Dale Jr. I've ever seen. He looks more like Windvow than when he does Dale Jr. That's interesting. That's Michael Cozy Jr., not Dale Jr. They got the wrong Jr. Best comeback ever. Definitely up there, that is for certain. Kind of anticlimactic as far as tonight's race went, but I mean, sometimes you need those nights, and tonight, Dale Jr. could have needed it. 43 points was all he won the championship by, a little bigger than the Truck Series points lead. Actually, the top 3 points were all within 36 points in the Truck Series. 43-point difference here. Did come down to the final race, so Dale Jr. didn't have to win, but he did have to finish within a few spots of Bowyer. So out of technicality, considering he led the most laps today, Jr. would have had to finish 7th or better to win the championship based off of Bowyer's 4th place finish. So going into that final lap, had to finish 7th, won the race obviously by a lot as well, over half a track. It definitely helped that Kyle Busch blew an engine. He was about 12 seconds off the lead with 10 to go when he blew the motor. But still, great season so far for Dale Jr. Well, not so far. It's over now. Great season overall for Dale Jr. I'll have to get the average finish. My phone's dead again for the 2nd straight night. So you guys want to stick around for just a quick second, I will get the average finish to you guys, as well as the other statistics so far this season. Check out the top 10 in points while we're waiting on that. Dale Jr. again, 43-point win over Clint Bowyer. J.J. Haley ends up finishing 3rd. John Hamilton, highest running fantasy driver, ends up 4th. J.J. Haley 30 points, 4-1 out of 1st. He was 2 full races, almost 3 races out of 1st. Unbelievable. Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 5 in points. Not bad. Bobby Labonte ends up finishing 6th. Shane Meal 7th. Aaron Crocker 8th. Justin Smith 9th. And Brandon Miller rounds out the top 10 in the point standings. Kenny Wallace in there in 12th. E-Balloon engine tonight. May have costed him 11th in points. Michael Jordan Jr. in 14th. Highest running driver that did not run every race was Matt Kenseth, who finished 17th in points. A lot of fantasy drivers behind him that did not, I should say, that did run more races. Didn't have the finishes Kenseth had. Even Casey Cannon didn't run all the races, gets top 20 in points also. Carl Edwards 28th. He had the most wins of drivers who did not run the full season. I think he had 4. Jamie McMurray, 41st. All the drivers to win races this year. Dale Jr. picked up his 13th win of the season tonight. Aaron Crocker won the season opener at Daytona. Tony Stewart had 1 win early in the year as well. Clint Boyer had 8 wins this season, was the 2nd most. Carl Edwards had the 3rd most with 4 wins. Matt Kenseth had the 4th most with 2 wins. Everybody else had 1. I mentioned Stewart had 1. Crocker had 1. Shane Meal had 1 win. John Hamilton had 1 win in the Busch and Truck Series. Casey Kane had a win at Michigan. Bobby Labonte had a win. J.J. Yaley had a win. Mark Martin had a win late in the season at Kansas. So pretty good overall. After leading 180 laps so far, I said so far again. After leading 180 laps tonight, Dale Jr. will end up with 2,464 laps led on the season, 24 top 10 finishes, 16 top 5s, 13 wins. And waiting on that average finish right now as well, which I'll currently calculate. Plan for tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard start time tomorrow night for the Cup Series. Just going to tally up the average finish here, and then that's pretty much it for the rest of this stream for those of you that are heading out. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I don't know what was a better comeback between this one or the Truck Series, only because in the Truck Series we were 405 points out of first, but we only had 13 races to make it up. The Busch Series, we had like 22, 23 races left when we were like 500 plus back. We had like almost an extra dozen races to make up the points. The only difference is Boyer was so much better than any of the drivers in the Truck Series because he had 8 wins, and what was it, like six of our 13 wins this year, he finished runner-up. So there were some races we were winning, we were only gaining like 5 to 10 points on him. See, lead laps, finished 2nd. Sometimes led the most laps, finished 2nd, so I'd only gained like 5 points on him. Alright, 22 plus 1 plus 1. So yeah, currently getting the average finish. It's going to take a couple minutes like it did last night. So if I'm a little silent, bear with me for that reason. Try to glance at the chat from time to time. Not have a bunch of dead air at the end of the stream. Not as hot of a streak as what I had in the Truck Series, at least as far as wins go. But I only finished outside the top 10 twice in the last 16 races. 2 finishes outside the top 10 in the last 16 races. Only 4 finishes outside the top 10 in the last 24 races. So 20 top 10s in the last 24 races of the season. I only had 4 top 10s in the first dozen. So kind of similar to the Truck Series where I just started off slow. It's why we had such big points deficits About the first 12 truck races, first 12 Busch races. The difference is the Busch Series, I still had another 23, 24 races to go. Truck Series, I only had like 13. That's why we were able to get to the points lead a couple races ago. I think the only time I led in the point standings was the final 3 races of this Busch Series season. I will say one thing with the custom schedule season. I feel confident of the ovals except for the super speedways Dover and Charlotte. But in the Cup Series with those fantasy tracks, each track is going to be so difficult. No, this game's more difficult than NASCAR 05. There's probably not going to be a lot of grip. We go to like Speedway Boulevard, Devil's Canyon, other tracks, Texas Road Course, Talladega Infield. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have literally half the schedule is going to be fantasy tracks. And then we're going to have 6 super speedway races too. So, I mean, that's like over 20 races, road courses, super speedways. I'm good on the road courses, at least the standard ones in this game, and Old Spice Speedway. Old Spice in the Cup Series is really long though. It's like a 500-mile road course race. It's ridiculous. Ron Hornet won the battle and he won the damn war. All right, 30-39, 1-3-1. I'm getting sidetracked. That's why it takes me so long to start like talking about random stuff in the season because I see my stats. I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. I should talk about that. Just to give you guys a little extra talking points here. 661, see 13, 25, 7. Almost done. Just gotta get the first 8 races. I think my worst finish was at Bristol where I finished 42nd, the first Bristol race. Second Bristol race I dominated. Had an 11 average finish. Like an even number 11. Not 11.0 anything. That is just 11. Average finish of 11th place. So average finish of 11, 13 wins, 16 top 5s, 24 top 10s, 2,464 laps led on the Busch Series season. Kind of similar to the Truck Series, led a lot of laps late in the year. 180 tonight. 30 at Phoenix. Surprised I didn't lead more laps at Phoenix, to be completely honest. It just didn't have a lot of track position, I guess. 102 laps led at Texas. 137 at Old Spice. 62 at Charlotte. 35 Kansas. 35. What was that? 62 at Charlotte. 35 Kansas. 96 at Dover. That was an impressive win at Dover. The win at Dover at this game and lead 96 laps. That was an impressive run from Dale Jr. Didn't make a mistake. The Cup Series, on the other hand, I made some mistakes. The problem is with the Cup Series, the races are like twice the length. At least that one at Dover especially. So, yeah, I went perfect in a Busch race there without making a mistake for 200 laps, but having to basically do that twice without clipping the apron. Be difficult. I'll try it again next season. 1 lap in California, 62. I had a dry spell just by getting good finishes. Didn't lead a lap at IRP, finished 5th. Finished first at Watkins Glen, led just 2 laps, led just 1 at Michigan. Finished 7th. Still getting good finishes. First at Bristol led 62 and 250. Thought I dominated that race more, but I guess not. California finished 13th, led just 1 lap. I mean, that was one of only the 2 top 10s I finished outside of late in the season. Alrighty. Well, that's going to wrap things up again. Tune in tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time. Chase race number 10 of 10 at Homestead. Our final race, at least on the Homestead side of things, and NASCAR 6 side of things for our championship race week. But also Thursday, another championship race, Championship 4 at Phoenix for NASCAR 21 Ignition. Also this weekend, live race commentary for the Xfinity Series and Cup Series. Cup Series start time will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Xfinity Series start time at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on Friday night. Saturday night will be the Cup race. And Sunday afternoon will cap off the week and the weekend, starting our NASCAR 06 custom schedule Cup Series season with the Daytona 500. Also the dual race earlier before that on the same stream. I plan on doing the dual race and the Daytona 500. So about 260 laps at Daytona in one stream. So that'll be interesting. But I'll probably give myself a little bit of a break in between, even though I'll keep the stream running and have like a 10-15 minute break, whatever, just to kind of relax before I go for the full 500 miles. I've not won at Daytona yet on an EA Sports game in the Cup Series for a points race. I've won 2 dual races at Daytona in any of the, EA Sports games, 04, 05, 06. I didn't win any in 06, but 04, 05, 2 dual race wins, that's it, but no points wins at Daytona. I've won 1 Busch race at Daytona also, which was on NASCAR 05. So we've got our backs against the wall for that, but that will start the next season. Got to worry about getting the championship first tomorrow night. Appreciate the support as always. On the road to 4,000 subs, on the road to becoming a NASCAR commentator. See you guys tomorrow evening, everybody. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night.